following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA network and our review show here of Impact Wrestling's Turning Point 2021. I'm KARLIFORNIA alongside Juicy Boy. What's going on, brother?
Not a lot, my friend. You know how it is, man. Another day, another wrestling show for us to chop up here. Let's get into it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's sick.
Man. It is sick.
Yeah, cunt. Yeah. Look, I thought it was important to quickly bring this up before we get into the review that what happened with Full Gear has obviously led to us. We're no longer reviewing Dynamite, and I know that there's a couple of people out there that were avid, keen viewers of our Dynamite reviews and AEW reviews, and we will still review the pay-per-views. It's okay. It's just we can't stand the weekly television any longer. We did not review NXT this week, but we will be picking back up on that next week. So just wanted to clear that from the outset here, bro. So let's get to it. Let's get to Impact Wrestling's Turning Point 2021. We've got our hosts with the most, Mad Striker and D'Lo Brown. Yeah, bro, that's Dime. They're a great little duo. I'm going to let you take the first one here, Juicy Boy. Ace Austin, a guy I've never heard of before, never seen before, accompanied by Madman Fulton, taking on Chris Sabin. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I'd seen a bit of Ace Austin on the indies, heard of him around. I haven't seen much of his work, a couple of matches here and there. He had a really good match against Chris Sabin here to open up the show. Contrary to what the crowd was chanting, it was not worthy of a "This is awesome" chant. It was a good to very good match. It did not teeter over that line into greatness territory, though. But there's nothing wrong with it being a very good match as opposed to a great one for the opener of a pay-per-view here. I thought that this match had a really nice pace to it, but they didn't try to go a million miles an hour and just do every flippy, whippy thing in existence, even though both of them are these two high-flying kind of quick guys. So I like that. I like that there was a level of restraint. Whenever we did see something that was more high-flying or aerial-based, it had more of an impact, because they didn't try to just shove the whole match full of it. Really loved the story that was told in this with Ace Austin wearing the I Beat Chris Sabin shirt. It costed him in the end. He went to put the shirt on. Sabin managed to capitalize off of that. From there, it went downhill. Sabin managed to get the win, ripped the shirt off of Ace Austin. Ace Austin didn't beat Chris Sabin on this occasion at Turning Point. I'd give it a B-. Good little way to open the show, Carl.
I wrote it was pretty good for it's like a new school style match, like this new wrestling style that's been around for a few years now. But
what do you mean by new? What do you mean?
Because it's not like what it used to be, it's different now, with the kicks and the transitions and the way that they do things with these high flying style matches. That's what I call by the new style that seems to be out there now, where pretty much everyone who is of this size are doing matches like this. So for that kind of style match, I'm not really a big fan of them personally. But these guys worked well together, and so I did like this because it looked like it was still a fight. I thought Ace Austin's defensive moves and evasions were very decent. I don't really have much else to add. It's a good match, and a good match is a dime a dozen to me now. I think Chris Sabin might need a haircut, but really, I like the finish. It was a good finish there, and the crowd popped for it. So good stuff, and good to see Chris Sabin still around the place doing well. Moving forward, bro, Violent by Design's Eric Young and Joe Doering take on Heath and Rhino. That big fucking Rhino.
The Rhino.
he's a big bastard, that Rhino.
Big bastard. He's gonna go you.
Fucking Rhino, yeah. Okay. I think Violent by Design. I like the group. I think that they really look the part. They fit each other. So I'm a fan of the group. Early in the match, Cody Deaner gets ejected. You know what? That's going to be like the wet dream of every referee, is knowing that you're going to get to have that spot where you get to go, you're out of here, and get that pop from the crowd. That must be a really nice feeling. Okay, the story of the match here, bro. We both were looking for this because we reviewed Bound for Glory, we reviewed XPW's Rebirth show, and Rhino was on both those shows, right? And we felt like, okay, Bound for Glory wasn't really noticeable. He just came in at the end of that match and got the win. XPW Rebirth, though, he faced Masada in a lengthy match. It probably went at least over 10 minutes, and we felt like something wasn't right. He was very ginger. So we were concerned that it had something to do with his knees. This whole match is Heath selling. It's a great story being told with him finally getting the tag. I noticed when Rhino comes in for the hot tag, he kind of stays in the center of the ring. He hits the clothesline. He might take a couple of steps, but it's not this big run up, clothesline. The guy bumps and feeds. Again, it wasn't like that. He wasn't running, several meters. He was always pretty close to him when he was doing something. Something isn't right with him at the moment. It has to be his knees or something like that. He really should think about maybe getting it checked out. Maybe just right now he just can't do something like that right now. Maybe that's what the case is. That was the main thing I took away from this. Violent by Design, they get the win here, and a nice little screw job finish there. What did you think, bro?
Yeah, I actually thought this ended up being a decent little tag match. It told the story that they wanted to tell. Again, nothing wrong with it. It was a good match. It wasn't a great match. It was just a good match. It was what it needed to be, served its purpose. Notwithstanding Rhino's issues, it is clear that he's either injured or slowing down a bit, like quite a bit, or both. Both of those things could be at play. But they covered that up well. Rhino still came in there, did his little bit. The crowd was still into him. He still looks like a beast physically. And I thought Heath did a great job of playing the babyface in peril. This worked for me. I would give this a solid C-. I thought this was a good little tag match.
Cool, bro. And hello, Gia Miller. She interviews Eddie Edwards. This is the first time I've ever heard him or seen him. I know he was in the Rumble at Bound for Glory. My bad, but one of the first times I've really seen him talk. Thought it was decent. He just seems like a real guy. What did you think?
Yeah, it didn't really work for me. I found that it lacked a lot of energy. I get that the idea that they're probably going through for that he's in a more sullen, serious kind of mindset, but to me, this just was a bit bland and a bit boring, and not what I want when I'm trying to get hyped up for a world title match.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, bro. Like, I think the verbiage of what he said was good, but there wasn't really a lot of fire behind it. And I kept thinking to myself, like, look, I don't know the history of Eddie Edwards. I don't know what he's done in Impact. I don't know what he's done elsewhere. But to me, I just kind of thought to myself, how is this guy in the main event? He just seems like he's...
See, but that's exactly my problem,
not really...
That's exactly my problem, because I have seen what he's done in TNA, bro. I have seen all the different shit that he's done. And in my opinion, here he is in the world title match. Where he was in 2015, I'd rather see that Eddie Edwards in this title match than the one that we got today. He's just... I don't know, man. This Eddie Edwards that we got today feels much more indie wrestler, like wrestler on the indie circuit than I felt when he was feuding with Davey Richards for the title several years back, and when him and Davey were feuding with the Hardy Boys for the Impact Tag Team titles. Man, there's just none of that fire and none of that energy that I remember seeing from back then, unfortunately.
Right, fair enough. Nice to get your astute points there. Moving forward, Brian Myers has been replaced. He's got elevated enzymes in his liver, apparently. So he is replaced by VSK, who is being accompanied to the ring by Discount Steve Carino, Zicky Dice.
Zicky
Never
Dice,
seen him or heard.
He is from
of him before.
NWA, bro. He left the
Right.
NWA during the COVID hiatus because NWA couldn't afford to keep paying him enough, basically, to sit on the shelf. So here he is in Impact.
Very nice. He takes on Rich Swann with Willie Mack at ringside for him. I'll let you take this one, bro. What did you think?
Man, Willie Mack in the house, new XPW champ. As you said when we were watching this, don't really know why they couldn't squeeze Willie onto the show somewhere, even if it's for a promo, because he's a charismatic dude. Liked Willie Mack's attire, man. Came out looking nice and street, had the basketball shorts, had the jersey, had the sneakers. It was all matching, all coordinated. It was looking fly. Shout out to him. Zicky Dice always pulls off his character quite well. You know immediately the second that he steps out on stage, even if you have never seen him before, what he's about. Like, you instantly know who that guy is, you know, what kind of guy that wrestler is. So I like that. Yeah, like, again, this was something that I didn't really have any issue with. I thought that this really went well. I don't even have like too much to say about it, bro. It was sort of just there. You know, it's another C- kind of a match, but, you know, nothing offensive either. Like, it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I've got a few things to say about it. I don't think I'm much of a fan of Rich Swann in the ring. I admire his ability and his athletic ability, of course. But there was a spot right at, I guess, the beginning-ish of the match. I think, he was on the ring apron. VSK was on the outside. He went for a kick and it got caught, and then his foot was thrown back, and then he kicked him again. And the kick was like the shortest little super kick, but he fucking clapped his leg like it was the most devastating fucking kick in the world. And it's just sometimes with these thigh slaps, man, like, I get it. You need it there for the effect. But when it's a short little super kick that really doesn't have the velocity behind it to warrant that kind of noise, they got to check themselves when they do these claps on the leg. I'm really, really not a fan of them. As the match wore on, I could see that they were cooperating with each other. It's like my biggest pet peeve, seeing people be like, you can tell that they're cooperating.
Yeah.
But, you know, as the match wore on, I just kept thinking, when the leg slaps are too much from Rich. He was even slapping his leg when VSK kicked him. It was just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
So I just don't really appreciate Rich Swann's style. I'm sure he's fantastic, and maybe I'll change my mind on him the next time I see him wrestle. But and it was a nice little finish.
Kind of thing. I think they just get into the habit of it, eh?
Yeah. It was a nice finish, and I'm glad that it didn't go on too long. Moving forward, bro. Morrissey, the former Big Cass, taking on Mack Cardona. Morrissey is just impressive to me right now. He's got the look. He's in shape. He's working solidly in the ring. I can totally see him getting a call from Vince in the next couple of years. We all know that he's got a hard-on for the big guys. Now that he's sorted his issues out, the only other things that I had written down were that, you know, I love the ref bump, which was followed by a Rough Rider. And then, of course, our boy Moose comes out, makes the interference, spears the shit out of Cardona, and then Morrissey picks up the win. And the one thing I wanted to say was, if this were AEW and Morrissey was Kenny Omega, after that spear, he would have picked him up. he would have hit him with a fucking V trigger. Then he would have hit him with a one-winged angel and then pinned him. This is where, you know, he just needed to get the pin. I just wanted to point that out there, that sometimes when there's an interference and someone's been laid the fuck out, you don't need to pick them back up and keep hitting moves on them. It's so irritating. It'd be like the Young Bucks would double super kicked him, then done the BTE trigger as well. Like, I know it's random of me to just bring that up just to pick on him, but yeah, I'm going to do that. Fuck you. Juicy Boy, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought this was a serviceable little match. I thought that, you know, there were a couple of the kicks that I saw clearly didn't connect. Like the big kick that Morrissey nailed on Matt Cardona when Cardona was on the apron, sending him to the outside. They had like a profile camera shot on that during that moment. You could clearly see Morrissey's foot go right towards and then up and over Cardona's head, not making contact at all. It's perfectly fine to do a nice safe kick like that, but if that's the way it's going to be, shoot it from behind or something like that. You know, I want the production crew really left a lot to be desired at different points in this show, and that was one example there. A couple of kicks like that didn't really connect, that could have been tightened up a bit on. Other than that, really perfectly possible match. I thought that both guys looked great. You know, Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, he's been a staple on the wrestling scene on national TV for a long time now, over a decade. So I think that people know who he is. They know what his moves are. They know what the whole deal is. He's done a great job of being over with that character and stuff like that, even with the name change. I don't even think people need to know his name to recognize who it is by this point, because he's just been around for so long with that character. So it's recognizable. That's always a plus, especially in a brand like Impact that's not exactly on top of the world right now. As you said, W. Morrissey in great shape. You know, I'd probably give this match a B-. You know, I thought that these guys did pretty well. It wasn't necessarily my personal favorite style of match, but it really accomplished the goal of making W. Morrissey look like an absolute monster, which is what I think they want going forward.
Very nice, bro. Coming up next, my second favorite tag team in the world after Toxic Attraction, Inspiration, defending the Knockouts tag team titles against Decay. What did you think, my friend?
Yeah, I thought that this match was a marked improvement over the first match that these two teams had at Bound for Glory. I thought that the chemistry really flowed in this one. The fact that it was more of a brawl, more of a knockdown, drag out, obviously, you know, that's really going to suit Havoc. And sorry, what's the other girl's name again? I've kind of
Rosemary.
Rosemary, of course. That's what I thought it was. I didn't want to misspeak. Havoc and Rosemary, I think that this brawling kind of more physical smash mouth style is really up their alley. I think that really worked. You could see them trying to pick apart the Inspiration. And then for their part, the Inspiration were kind of more a little bit in survival mode, but then at the same time, anyone that knows Australian women knows that if you get into a fight with an Australian chick, she's going to end up slamming your head in a car door repeatedly, like while her boyfriend holds her high heels off on the side somewhere. And that we got a bit of that, you know, these obviously the Inspiration, they're more about their attitude and their persona and their looks and stuff, but they showed here that they can hang in a real physical type of a brawl. And I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a B- once again. That's, you know, I really just, you know what, honestly, after this match, I would actually not mind seeing another match between these two teams. Whereas coming out of the Bound for Glory match, I could have taken or leave, you know, taken or left it. But you know what? Really pleasant surprise here. I really was pleased with it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like when I saw that this match was on this card, I kind of groaned. I was like, oh, you know, I hope it's better than last time, because the last one it just was very clunky.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, light years better than the Bound for Glory match. It felt like a fight. My highlight of the match was an assisted powerbomb when Jesse kicked Rosemary as Cassie powerbombed her off the apron onto the floor.
Oh,
that was sick.
That was a bomb.
Yeah, and the the victory taking place on Havoc, the most realistic way that they could go about getting that pinfall on her was the way that they went and did it. And so they cheated to win, but that was really the only logical way that these two beautiful women were going to be able to beat these two crazy chicks.
Also sexy.
Yeah. And I will have to say that I was a big fan of Cassie's tight pants. She wore them good. Okay, bro, moving forward. Again, Hubba Gia Miller backstage with Chris Sabin. What did you think of this fun little interview?
Yeah, I actually thought this was good. Chris Sabin made a bit of a show of the T-shirt that he stole from Ace Austin that obviously says, "I beat Chris Sabin." He goes on to start saying that he likes the shirt. He thinks the quality of it's nice. You know, it's made of a nice cotton. So he says, you know, I made a little adjustment to the shirt and now it's perfect. And he's just taken a piece of sticky tape and written the word "am," and now it says "I am Chris Sabin" on the shirt as opposed to "I beat Chris Sabin." Fun little gag. An example of not trying too hard. You know, yes, obviously this was meant to be a bit of a joke, but it was meant to be a bit of a chuckle. You know, they weren't trying to win awards for fucking stand-up comedy, like outstanding writing in a comedy series at the fucking Emmys. They were just trying to get a nice little joke worked in there for a bit of levity, and it worked. See, so often that's the problem is in wrestling, they just try too hard, man, to be funny. You know, 9 times out of 10, the funniest stuff is shit that's not supposed to be funny. Or if it is supposed to be funny, it ends up being infinitely more funny because of specifically who's involved in the segment, aka like you know, like Big Show and Big Boss Man at Big Show's father's funeral is an example of that, you know, where it still would have been interesting if Hardcore Holly and fucking Joey Abs were in the segment, but it's just not quite as funny as it was with Big Show and yeah, anyway, you get what I'm saying. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. You feel me? So yeah, that ended up being a little long-winded, but I wanted to point that out because I'm so sick of seeing wrestlers make jokes and then I'm ending up just cringing and rolling my fucking eyes, you know?
Yeah, bro, I get you. Totally 100%. You know, it's funnier when you don't really try that hard to be funny. I kind of popped for him wearing a beanie. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought that as well.
Yeah, when he revealed the shirt and it said, "I am Chris Sabin," you know, he got a good laugh out of me. Okay, moving forward, X Division Championship match. It's Trey Miguel defending the title against Steve Macklin, who I know you're becoming quite the fan of now, and Laredo Kid, the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. I will quickly run through my notes here. There was a very messy beginning with the choreography. So sometimes I do have a hard time with these choreographed matches. And another thing I was thinking is like the crowd size is a very big disservice to Impact right now. Because they're just not loud enough. The stuff that they're doing deserves a bigger crowd for a louder reaction. So they're doing all this crazy shit, but like most of the crowd is just sitting down in their seats. It comes across weird. It's an odd atmosphere.
Yeah.
There was an electric chair spot on the outside of the ring early on that I wasn't too happy about. It just was very dangerous. I thought Laredo Kid might have fucking broke his neck on that bump. Sometimes I think a spot like that isn't necessary. You know, I get it's the X Division. I get this is the way that they do it, but fuck, man, like if it looks that dangerous and it looks like it could have really hurt him, then I don't think they should have tried it in the first place, and unless they knew that they were really going to nail it. Soon after this, Macklin hits a really sick jumping knee on the outside. I thought he should win the match, to be honest. Camera work was, again, a little bit messy at times. Again, with the thigh slaps. I don't know why, but I just picked up on it a lot today. But
it's more noticeable because there's not as much noise from the crowd and shit like that, man. It's just more noticeable.
That's it. Yeah. but like aside from that, there were quite a lot of good things in this matchup. The power slam into Trey, who was in the Tree of Woe, was just nuts. The match got better as it went along, and I really liked the finish with Macklin kicking out, Laredo Kid getting pinned on that double pin from Trey Miguel. So now it's time for your thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, this was probably the match that I was most looking forward to because, Macklin and Trey Miguel were in a triple threat at the last event, obviously. And now here they are in another one, only with the opponent swapped out for Laredo Kid. Yeah, this was really clunky at the beginning. I think that Macklin it's not his style of wrestling, and I don't really think that they should have even bothered to involve him, and it would have been smarter just to toss him out and then to go into your fancy little lucha spots if that's how you wanted to start the thing off. But yeah, this did turn into what I felt was a very good match. It was an extremely physical match. There was a lot of quite painful looking bumps. No one was being dropped directly on their head or anything, but it just looked like it probably physically would have taken a toll on all the competitors. That's what you want. It was a high impact match. It felt like all the people involved in the match were extremely motivated to actually win the title. It didn't just feel like they were going and doing a bunch of spots for the sake of it, especially Macklin. Like Macklin really stands out in this type of match because the other two are way more stereotypical cruiserweight X division lucha libre style wrestlers. And Macklin is much more of that kind of smash mouth style that, you and I really appreciate. And I think that the contrast of Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel against Steve Macklin really is an interesting dynamic for these triple threats. It's just like I said earlier about the beginning part. If you're going to do this complex lucha libre stuff, leave that to just Trey Miguel because he's going to be able to work with Laredo Kid much more fluidly than I think Steve Macklin is. But overall, I would give this a, man, B+, man. It's getting a B+. Had a bit of a wonky beginning. I don't know, man. I want to give it a B+, but I'm going to actually change to a B- because the beginning was flubbed up. So that can't be ignored.
Fucking hell, bro. Will you get it together with these ratings? Unbelievable dipshit.
I said B-, didn't I? Fuck.
I got real problems with this system that you've got going on. Moving forward, bro. Impact Knockouts World Championship. It's hardcore country. Fuck, there's guys in the crowd that kept doing that during the match. Shut up, cunt. Stop trying to make it a thing, okay? It will never be a thing. All right, she takes on Mercedes Martinez, the legendary Mercedes Martinez herself. I'm going to let you take it away, bro. What did you think of the Knockouts World Championship match?
Yeah, this was my favorite match on the show. This was absolutely the best match that I thought we saw. Mercedes Martinez and Mickie James, both been pros for a long, long time. Both really know what they're doing. Both extremely experienced and knowledgeable. And they both went out there extremely motivated to have a good Knockouts title match. This match was better than Mickie James's match at NWA. And I felt like it was better than her performance at Bound for Glory as well. I just thought it was a fantastic match. Both ladies, just the physicality was off the charts. It was really a story of Mercedes Martinez using some of that power and some of that viciousness to try to kind of like pick apart Mickie James. And, a lot of high impact delivered to Mickie James, hard landings, hard bumps, things of that nature. Whereas Mickie James, for her part, definitely trying to use some of that finesse and trying to kind of chess match her way into a winning predicament, which she eventually did at the end. They made a great deal of effort, went into really making this thing feel like it was tit for tat and like it was even. And that is what you want in a title match because you want a credible champion taking on a really credible contender for the belt. This match delivered in spades. It is getting a DJ recommendation. Go out of your way to check it out because I can't do it justice. And it's getting an A- from me.
Lovely.
Oh,
You see what happens?
sorry, man. Sorry.
Yes, what? What is it now? You're changing your rating again.
No, 2 words, man. Diona Perazzo. Also want to shout out that. Love the fact that they're continuing that storyline. Consistency in women's wrestling storylines. Wow. What a novel concept. Now I'm finished.
It's unbelievable. See what happens when you let older, experienced female wrestlers do their fucking thing. How hard was this? These two have been around for a little while now. They were in WWE not long ago. You give Mickie 10 minutes, 12 minutes with Charlotte on pay-per-view, 15 minutes. You're going to get a fucking A+ match, a 5-star match. Same thing with Mercedes Martinez. You put her out there with Charlotte or whoever, the Rhea Ripley, etc. You're going to get a fucking cracking match. But do they get to ever show that there? No. Mercedes couldn't even get off the fucking NXT. And they just wasted Mickie. So you watch a match like this and you see the potential that they have and the fact that they just had like their time wasted by going back there, or just Mercedes going there for the first time in her career. So again, fucking WWE right there. You always fuck it up. Fuck, man. It's been like 20 years of you just fucking everything up. It's not hard.
They just keep making more and more money each year as well. That's the other frustrating part about it. Like,
imagine how much money they would be making if they didn't keep fucking everything up. They got to keep fucking gutting their roster and cutting their fucking fireworks budget just so they can fucking show how much money that they made or they saved. Anyway, away from all that bullshit, Mickie gets the win, and I did like the finish, and it's just so nice, bro. It's so nice to watch a pay-per-view where all the finishes of all the matches were actually fucking good. Actually fucking good finishes. Hello, AEW. I hope you're watching. I know you didn't do fucking anything for Impact when you had your little storyline there. And I'm going to keep bringing that up anytime I can because, a few weeks ago, that argument that I had with that fucking AEW fan, it did more for Impact than it did for AEW. They got more pay-per-view buys and the ratings went up. Long term, it didn't fucking do anything.
No.
It doesn't mean anything if they got a short-term bump here and there. It wasn't anything that was long-term that benefited the company, that got more eyeballs on it, that wanted to stick around. Not people just checking out the next Kenny Omega victory. Fuck you. All right? That whole premise of Omega taking the belt, running out of the arena, getting into a fucking limo and running away from the AEW, whatever episode it was when he beat Moxley for the belt, and then he shows up on Impact Wrestling. I thought, wow, this could really be something. And it led to fucking nothing because the people that you had involved with the idea don't know how to fucking write creative shit. Fuck you. There we go. I needed to get something out of me here, bro, because I like this show. So I need to be able to fucking rant at something. So, yeah. That's it. I don't even know how I got into that, but
here we are.
And a great attack from Diona after the match. Very good. Moving that story along very nicely. Stories. Feuds that continue on, bro. Not just like we do this for a few weeks and then we get to the pay-per-view and then they have a match and then that's the end of the feud and then they start doing something else. Like what happened with Punk and Kingston.
Yeah, Punk's already moved on to MJF. Gee, I would have been.
Yeah, and well, what happened to Darby?
Yeah, like I would have been really excited about Punk versus MJF 6 months from now. after he's played out his feud with A King.
Yep. Another missed opportunity. A bunch of fucking nobodies.
That's why we're not reviewing week to week anymore. Deal with it. All right, here we go.
Yep, suck my hairy ball sack. Again, Hubba Gia Miller. She's backstage with the big boss man of Impact Wrestling, Scott D'Amore, and he announces that at Hard to Kill or something. Yeah, I don't know if it's a Hard to Kill or before Hard to Kill, but it is. Okay. Knockouts Ultimate X match. That should be interesting. Hopefully nobody kills themselves. What do you reckon, bro? Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I get it, bro. X for Ultimate X, yeah.
That's right. That's what I fucking reckon.
Mm-hmm. And is that all your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm also excited, but a little bit concerned as well, depending on who they put in the match.
Yeah. Okay. Moving forward, Impact World Tag Team Championships. It's the Good Brothers taking on Chris Bay and Hikuleo of the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you take this one away again, bro. What did you think of the World Tag Team Championship matchup?
Yeah, well, this was framed as kind of a current Bullet Club versus former Bullet Club. Bit of a story here. I'm sure you're going to go more into it in your own analysis of this match. But look, for my money, the whole Bullet Club thing is a law of diminishing returns at this point. Each new incarnation, like it's like that old thing of like, you build a ship and then over time, every individual board of wood that composed the ship gets replaced because it wears out. Is it still the same ship, at the end of that? Is it still the same Bullet Club that we originally started with that they trade off of the equity that the Bullet Club made? Is Chris Bay and Hikuleo still really authentically the Bullet Club? I don't really think so. And I'm not saying that to criticize them. I'm just saying there's a lot of heavy trading on that Bullet Club idea and that Bullet Club name and image. And I think that every time they get a new incarnation of it coming in, it waters it down that little bit more and starts to dilute it. And I think that Chris Bay and Hikuleo would actually be better off not representing the Bullet Club, because having them associated with the Bullet Club actually drags the Bullet Club down name to their level. It drags the Bullet Club down. It doesn't necessarily elevate them up, because all of the top people that were in the Bullet Club at one point have moved on to greener pastures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it may seem like I'm focusing on that, but they did kind of make that a bit of a focal point of this match here. Good Brothers took forever to enter. It was like twice the length of an Undertaker WrestleMania entrance. It took them to cover about a third of the same distance. But they eventually got there. I have to imagine they did that on purpose because they seem to be ribbers. And, I think they did that to be funny. Like, I'm choosing to think that because I find that funny. Beyond the Bullet Club stuff that I mentioned, I thought that everybody in the match did an extremely good job, and I'd give it a C+. I thought it was pretty decent.
Very good, bro. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, is the NWO, and this isn't a knock on anyone. Anyone that I reference here, I'm not knocking anyone. Because everyone I mention here, I'm a fan of, okay? Is the NWO Hogan, Hall, and Nash as much as it was the Harris brothers and Jeff Jarrett in early 2000? I love the Harris brothers. I love Jeff Jarrett.
They're not the same thing, though. They're not the same thing.
It's that's the, and with the Bullet Club, is Hikuleo and Chris Bay, are they,
AJ.
You really AJ and like
Prince Devitt.
No,
Finn Balor.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with all that. It's the same thing. I don't know how long that this thing's going to keep going for. Maybe they keep doing it because the t-shirts keep selling very well or something like that.
And that's fine.
I have a feeling people buy the shirt just because it looks cool. And I don't think the Bullet Club are as over as people seem to think that they are. Anyway, yeah, this was a pretty good knockdown, drag out tag team brawl here. My favorite part of the match was Hikuleo and Gallows when they finally got tagged in to go against each other. I thought most of that was pretty good, and the finish was good. I liked the cheekiness of the Good Brothers again walking away with the Impact Tag Team titles.
Oh, that was a brilliant finish.
That's exactly it, bro. I think that they need some more tag teams in there. They need some new fresh faces of that tag division to go up against them.
I agree.
All right, bro. Moving forward, we got two more things to cover here. PBR will be the sponsor of the next pay-per-view, Hard to Kill.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Also the whatever it's called in December. It's like a throwback show or something that's happening in December.
Yeah, that was
anyway.
Throwback. I can't remember it. We'll cover it when we get to it, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, sorry everyone. It's been a long day. Then, as they're talking about that, theme song hits, and one of my favorite things that a commentator can never say: "This isn't on my format," which is what Matt Stryker said. And out came Josh Alexander, and Josh Alexander was very, very angry about his situation. Yep, about his situation, and that Scott D'Amore told him to take some time to calm himself down and get your head on straight, etc. And he's explaining why it's difficult for him to get his head on straight and get himself back to, zen, I suppose you could say. And that's kind of, the promo was very good. He had the fire in his eyes. He looked like he meant everything that he said. And then all of a sudden, a theme song hits. And I'd said to you earlier in the show, man, I really hope someone debuts on the show. I want to be surprised by something. A theme song hits, then on the entrance video screen, it says Jonah. And I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. The big boy's here now. And he came from the opposite side of the arena, jumping the guardrail, got on the ring, fucking nailed him, kept on hitting these sentons on him. He must have hit about 4 or 5 of them. Then he hit a big splash off the top rope. Then he continued on with the assault. Then Josh Alexander is now coughing up blood. He's got internal injuries. I love stuff like this. How hard was this?
It was sick. Nice angle.
Now God, I can't wait to see where this goes. You know what I mean? Then as he's being tended to by referees and medical personnel or whatever, Jonah Rock comes back again and delivers another splash onto him. And man, the selling from Josh Alexander, it looked like it was real. What did you think, man? I know you missed a bit of it.
I agree wholeheartedly with your assessment. I think Josh Alexander is fast becoming a talent that really has a future in the business. And I definitely think that Jonah showed that he already is part of the present of the business. It was a big mistake of WWE letting him go. Here he is. No pun intended, he made a huge impact here in Impact Wrestling. And look, once again, there are 2 threading issues here. Josh Alexander still has an issue with Moose because Moose stole the title from him. Josh Alexander now also has an issue with Jonah. And he has an issue with Impact itself because he's pissed off at how he was treated at the last event. You see how simple little things like this attack from Jonah and the choice to debut him in this way against Josh Alexander immediately gets Jonah involved in, the thick of things. And it also creates another thread of storytelling that you can draw on. Don't forget that by having all these interconnected storylines and stuff, when you get into a bit of a corner and you don't know what you can do, you can remind yourself, this guy's also got an issue with Josh Alexander or whoever it may be. And you can throw them back in the mix. because you can start calling back to things that you've done in previous episodes. And they are setting themselves up to be able to do that long term with the way that they're currently booking their storytelling at the moment, Carl.
Yeah, as I said to you earlier, I think that they have the best creative going in wrestling today. It does not insult my intelligence whatsoever. Okay, Josh Alexander has an issue with Moose, and now he has one with Jonah. Moose has an issue with Josh, but he also has an issue with Eddie, and he also has an issue with Cardona. Cardona has an issue now with Morrissey, who's now helping Moose, and maybe now Eddie's going to have a problem with Morrissey. You see all of this happening. This is realistic. All of these different people vying for success, vying to make money in this field. There's going to be a lot of conflicts going on at one time. It can't always just be like we have an issue for a month and now we no longer have an issue and now I'm on to the next thing. This is realistic, don't you think?
Yep, I absolutely do. It really drives me up the wall when we don't have that interconnectedness. It should feel like the overall product of a wrestling promotion, it should feel like the other talents are aware of each other's existence and that they all understand.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
That's all right.
Let's leave that in. Dude, a massive fucking cockroach.
Oh, man, hectic.
Hang on.
Got a couple of creepy crawlies running around.
Dude, it was massive and it was flying around. That's why I was looking up over here. Massive fucking cockroach. Oh my God, bro. It's dead now. I didn't want to have to kill it, but I'm not having that flying around when I'm trying to do this shit. This is Australia. All right, bro. So where were you?
Oh, man, I don't even remember now.
Oh, yeah. I just said, because this is me again picking on AEW storytelling. People have an issue for the length of time that it is between setting something up and then the pay-per-view. And then magically, once the pay-per-view's over, bro, they now completely just different sides of the fucking spectrum in the company.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Blows my mind.
That's what I was saying. It's like they pretend that these people that 2 weeks ago they were ready to kill them, they pretend that they don't exist now, even though they can see that that same person is on in the match after them, still on TV every week. You can't expect feuds to go on forever. You've got to be able to move on to different things, but that's not what we're saying, though. It's like you can start building issues between different people before they're necessarily finished with this current issue that they're in now. Because it makes the whole thing feel a lot more dynamic and involved than just going in a linear way from one issue to the next.
Yeah. We've got an Impact review here that we're doing, but fuck, man, it still fucks me off with this Kingston and Punk thing. 2 weeks ago, they wanted to kill each other. Eddie said he wanted to hurt him at the pay-per-view. He didn't end up hurting him. He ended up losing. Yeah. And now, they're completely separate. If this were real and Eddie's like an unhinged kind of human being, he'd keep going after the cunt until he got what he wanted out of the whole situation. You've done a disservice to him, and that's why we're not watching it anymore, because you keep fucking this shit up and hurting people's careers.
I mean, it's like when I found out when Dynamite had aired after Full Gear, when I found out that they initiated a feud between MJF and Punk, I was like, you know what? I'm glad we've decided we're dropping it, because that really pissed me off. I don't care how good the segment might have been. I'm sure it was fantastic. Both guys are great on the mic. I don't care. It's not time for that match yet. It's not even the product. But let's get to the main event of this show. AEW can suck out both.
We ended up talking about him anyway. Even though he didn't even watch the show, we ended up reviewing it anyway somehow. Because it fucking pisses us off, bro. Knowing that
Yeah,
we can do
man.
better. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Enough. Full Metal Mayhem, bro. Full Metal Mayhem. God, my lighting keeps going off. Moose, the new world champ. You know he's not losing the belt.
Nah.
Defending the Impact World Heavyweight Championship against Eddie Edwards. I will let you take this one away, bro. What did you think of our main event?
I mean, I was excited about it going in. I'd seen a lot of Eddie Edwards before. I'm a big fan of Moose. This match was like a road trip that you take with your family. And you know what? Along the way, there's lots of cool little sights and stuff that you're going to stop and see. And there's, a great roadhouse where you can refuel, and they have great food there and comfortable chairs so that you can relax, and an area to stretch your legs when you get out of the car. All of that's great. But the driving in between those destinations is just interminable. There's nothing outside. There's nothing to look at. There's not a cloud in the sky. There are no cows in the paddocks. Nothing. Weird analogy. I fucking know. Stick with me, guys.
Well, you're a bit of a weird cunt. So.
I know. This match was very much in that vein. It was filled with exciting, impactful, violent, intense moments and individual spots. But it's that syndrome that we talk about with some hardcore matches, bro, where they can't get it together quickly enough in terms of actually getting from point A to point B to point C to point D. And it ends up just dragging along because you kind of know that we're headed to these different points along the road. But it's just like we can't seem to accelerate. We can't seem to get into that third or fourth or fifth gear to get there fast enough. And it drags down the enjoyment that we feel when we finally get to those big moments, those big spots in the match, those memorable destinations along the journey, to go back to that analogy. By the time we get there, we're so tired out from the interminable in between that it takes a little bit of the luster off of the exciting things that they're doing in the match. I know, again, that's kind of long-winded. It's already late at night here. It's 10:15 p.m. I'm tired. But it is an issue. Yeah, I just felt like this really plodded along unfortunately, in a negative way. And at first, I was kind of digging it. I was like, we've got a bit of a slow burn and stuff like that. But then the longer that it went on, the more apparent that it became like, okay, they're trying to make sure they've set up for this spot over here. And they're trying to make sure they've set up for this one. And they're waiting until they get into the position to do this part of the match that they've talked about. But there just wasn't much substance to it in between. That's all I'm going to say about it. Unfortunately, I think that those boring in-between bits are going to drag it down a little bit. I'm going to give the main event of Turning Point 2021 a C-. I really felt like the spots and some of the moves they did were scintillating, as I said, but it's not enough to rescue the overall match from being a bit slow and boring.
Yeah. Full Metal Mayhem match. I was really expecting... I mean, you've explained it there, but I was expecting a bit starting slow, but then, picks up its pace as we go on. Then maybe there's times where they're down both selling, where it slows down again.
Yeah.
Before we, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
The beginning of the initial, there's the first time we had a dick measuring contest with them just hitting each other and over again. Wasn't sure if this was the right way to start the match.
I don't think so.
But it was also an interesting contrast because you went from that to all of a sudden a high back body drop to the outside, and Moose went through a fucking table. So I like the contrast between that weird beginning of the match where it was kind of slow, just watching them hit each other back and forth, to all of a sudden Moose is now like, it went from like a fucking, what's the saying? It went from being an even Steven situation to all of a sudden now the advantage is completely in Eddie Edwards' side of the
like
court.
a sudden swing of momentum, sudden change.
Just in one fell swoop, one thing happened and then it could change the complexion of everything. Then we get some cookie sheets to the head. I like it. I like finally seeing something where someone gets hit in the head. You know, and I understand concussion issues and all that stuff, and it's not good to do chair shots to the head and all that stuff. I totally understand. But you know, as I've said heaps of times before, I get sick and tired of seeing people get jabbed in the gut so they can hit them in the back. So over it.
Just
so
don't
I'm
do
glad
it.
to see. Yeah, just don't do it. Yeah, so glad to see people getting hit in the head. That's a great sentence, isn't it? The power bombs from Moose were fantastic. You know, it seemed like there was just a power bomb for every type of part of the building, whether it was the stage, whether it was through a table, the ring apron, onto a ladder. Good stuff. There was a DVD onto the ring apron, which was really fucked up.
Yeah, that was brutal. Like half of Moose lands on the apron, the other half does not hit the apron at all. You do the math.
It looked fucked up, bro. And you know, geez, what else is there? The sunset flip power bomb onto the ladder that was kind of wedged in between the turnbuckle and the ladder that Eddie was on top of. That was very impressive, but a wag of the finger to Impact Wrestling's production team for cutting to a different camera angle halfway through the bump. Don't. We just want to see it happen in full. Don't touch anything. I hope it was an accident. So you have this highlight reel of great stuff that happened throughout this match, bro. So many great little moments. But the thing that hurt it the most, as you said, was when we get from spot to spot, it just took so long to get there. It was like we were watching two fucking tortoises out there getting from spot to spot. And, you know, I thought everything that they did execute was fantastic, but man, it was just, it plodded along too much. You heard how many times I yawned. And then I'd wake up out of my stupor because something wicked happened. It just, you need those gears, gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, back to gear 2, to gear 1, to jump up to gear 3, gear 4, gear 5. It's got to be a roller coaster ride. You know, I'm not asking to, you know, I'm not asking for like a little rowboat ride. I want a roller coaster ride. I don't want to be on a rowboat. This is a stupid example, but that's what I'm going with. I'm tired. And okay, the ending of the match. I did enjoy the interferences. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing I didn't like about as we were heading toward the finish was how fucking long it took Eddie Edwards to fucking cut the bands that were holding the fucking canvas together. Just snip, 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 snip. Go around the other side. Snip, snip, snip. Just get it done quickly. It took too long. Yeah. And then you finally pulled all the shit off. You pulled all the shit off, the mat off and everything. It took way too long to get that set up. And then he just cops a uranagi onto it, and then that was what leads to him losing the match, which is awesome. You know, I wanted Moose to win.
It was a pretty brutal bump on there, but...
Yeah, but it was just like, fuck, man, like, no wonder you lost the match. You took for fucking 3 years to get the spot set up. They just plodded along too much throughout the whole match. And so all the good stuff that they did was great. But the journey to get to each of those spots was just hoping for an improvement next time. I'm hoping Moose will defend the championship in just a regular match next time, so I could just see a regular match with him. This was the first time I've actually seen him perform in some sort of one-on-one type matchup. But anyway, bro, I enjoyed the show. I think the stories are more cohesive and realistic, and they complement my intelligence. They don't insult my intelligence. They're not difficult stories to tell, but they're also not too simple either. So I'm digging checking out Impact's, every time they have a pay-per-view at this stage. So any overall thoughts from you, bro, and obviously your rating out of 10?
Well, overall, I thought this was a very enjoyable show. It did not feel like a slog to get through. I'd give this show a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a really good show. I'm probably going a bit on the high side of the scale there, but I just feel like the consistency from match to match to match, the actual creative was just so on point, and that makes it infinitely more enjoyable for a fan like me to get into the show when they pay attention to those details.
Yeah, cool, bro. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was a good show. I don't have any major complaints. Just the main event was a little slow, and that's about that. So, bro, it's been a long day, and I think I ate too much Indian food for dinner.
Man.
I'm full, man. I'm so full.
He's ready to go. He'll be going back to the toilet 3 more times before the video review's even uploaded.
Man, it was a fucking nightmare. It was a nightmare earlier. I'm just gonna say that.
Bro? Like, your face is
fine. Actually, my face is fine. I'm just I just need to get my food digested. That's all. Notice how I stopped drinking the beer? I'm full, man. I can't fit anything else in. Okay, bro. Let everyone know out there where they can find you.
All right. I'm on the gram. Juicy_boy. Because obviously, yes, some other fucking idiot stole Juicy Boy all the time. Facebook, like the page, Juicy Boy. I never use it though. YouTube, subscribe, Juicy Boy. Fucking Twitch, Juicy Boy. Twitter, @JuicyBoy. And just in case you don't fucking know. Oh dear. The way that you fucking spell that shit is JOOSEYBOY. That's Juicy Boy. And I'll see you on social media.
See you on social media, folks.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm California. You can find me on Twitter at California WZWA. That's KARLIFORNIA WZWA. That's it. That's the only thing you can find me on. I hate social media. But follow us here on the WZWA network, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, on TikTok. There's heaps of shit. Essentially anything that's out there that you can sign up for and have an account on, there is one at WZWA network. Okay. So seek it out, find it, like it, stay tuned. We've got a heap of wicked shit coming your way. And the last thing, if you go onto the Ryzen network, RIZON on IRC chat, if you like that old school shit, then go to the chat room, #wrestling, a good group of people in there to talk to. So thank you, Juicy Boy.
Yeah, no worries, cunt.
And thank you all out there for watching the WZWA Network's review show here of Impact Wrestling's Turning Point 2021. I'm your host, California, alongside my good friend Juicy Boy, and we will see you down the fucking road.